In the quiet town of Oakridge, Mark, an ordinary farmer tending to his fields, witnessed a sight that defied all logic. Amongst his grazing horses, a creature stood unlike anything he had ever seen emerged, a magnificent horse with antlers that seemed to reach for the sky. As he approached cautiously, he realized it wasn't a mere horse. It had massive antlers towering above its majestic head. Mark's bewilderment turned to sheer terror when he discovered the truth about this bizarre creature. Mark could first not believe what he was seeing. Even without the antlers, the horse still towered above the rest of his, admittedly small herd of horses. Where did this animal come from? And more importantly, what the hell even was it? Mark knew he needed to find out more. But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Getting close to his horses could sometimes be difficult when they were out in the field, but there was always a fail-proof method he could employ. And that was feeding time. He quickly went back to the stables and got a bale of horse food. When Mark put the food in the designated trays, the rest of the horses also approached. All except formed the standout animal, the oversized horse with antlers. But when it was standing on its own, Mark could already see it a lot better and managed to make some interesting conclusions about the animal. His first thoughts that it was maybe an elk of some sort were quickly put in the trash. From everything he could see from the animal, he was fairly sure that it was a horse. A big one, for sure. But there were definitely breeds that could easily reach this size. The problem was that no breed could grow antlers. Mark had never heard of or seen anything like this. As the horses were feeding, he jumped over the fence and slowly but surely approached the horse with antlers. At first, the animal did not seem to notice him as it was calmly grazing, but the moment the horse spotted Mark, things quickly changed. The animal's behavior switched from calm to aggressive, and it turned its antlers towards Mark, who was immediately stopped in his tracks. With his heart pounding in his chest, Mark retreated swiftly, the antlered horse's eyes following him with an unsettling intensity. Mark took a moment to catch his breath, leaning heavily against the wooden fence. The surreal encounter had shaken him, but he couldn't let fear paralyze him. He knew he needed to resolve this bizarre situation, not just for his safety, but for the welfare of his entire herd. Determined, Mark pushed aside his doubts. This was no time for hesitation. He made up his mind to approach his neighbors for assistance, knowing full well the challenge he faced in convincing them of the reality of this unusual creature. Mark approached his nearest neighbor, his voice steady as he explained the situation, describing the horse with its towering frame and unusual antlers. Together they discussed a strategy to safely capture the horse, Mark outlining his thoughts while his neighbor listened intently. But skepticism crept into their voices as they struggled to envision a horse adorned with antlers, something out of a fairy tale or a myth. Mark could see the disbelief in their eyes, their expressions betraying their thoughts. Was this a wild story or a real danger lurking in their midst? Mark's request for help was met with hesitant glances and polite refusals, his neighbors uneasy about approaching an animal so unpredictable and unknown. Standing amidst his fields, Mark felt the weight of solitude pressing down on him. He realized he was on his own in this strange battle. Resolute, Mark reached for his phone, dialing the number of a local veterinarian known for dealing with large animals. Over the phone, Mark described the scene in vivid detail. The towering horse, its unusual antlers, and its unpredictable behavior. He emphasized his concern for the safety of both the animal and his herd, hoping the vet would understand the urgency of the situation. After a moment of thoughtful silence, the vet proposed a plan using non-traditional methods, focusing on the safe capture of the horse without causing it harm. Her ideas were innovative and untested, but they sparked a glimmer of hope in Mark's anxious heart. Mark busied himself preparing the farm for the vet's arrival, checking and double-checking every fence and gate. The vet's truck rolled onto Mark's farm, a beacon of hope amidst his growing concern. With careful steps, the vet approached the field, her eyes locked on the horse with antlers. Mark joined the vet by the fence, discussing the pros and cons of using sedation. The vet expressed her reservations about sedating the horse, pointing out the complexities due to its unfamiliar anatomy and behavior. The risk of an adverse reaction loomed large in her cautious words, guiding them towards seeking alternative solutions. After a moment of contemplation, the vet suggested a novel approach. She proposed using a large horse trailer, a method that could allow them to capture the animal without direct confrontation or the uncertainty of sedation. Mark, the vet, and a handful of assistants she had brought along began their preparations. Together, they positioned the horse trailer at a strategic point near the field. The placement was key. It needed to be close enough to be effective, but far enough to not startle the horse immediately. In a huddle, the team mapped out their strategy. They would use controlled movements and noise to gently steer the horse towards the trailer. Slowly, step by step, the horse began to move towards the trailer, albeit still unsure and wary. Finally, their efforts bore fruit. After several tense attempts, the horse, driven by the orchestrated noise and movements, began to move steadily closer to the trailer. A sense of cautious optimism spread among the team as they witnessed their plan coming together. Once enclosed within the trailer, the horse's agitation surged. It paced restlessly, its hooves thundering against the metal floor, a stark reminder of the wildness they were attempting to contain. The team moved with calm efficiency, using straps and barriers to ensure the horse's safety. Their priority was clear: to prevent the horse from injuring itself or others during the transport, a task that required both gentleness and firmness. Mark oversaw the final preparations, double-checking every latch and strap. The journey to the clinic was a test of patience and endurance. Finally, they arrived at the vet's clinic, the journey's end bringing a mix of relief and new anxiety. The horse, still fraught with nervous energy, seemed unaware of the efforts made for its well-being. At the clinic, the horse's behavior remained a puzzle, unpredictable and erratic. It reacted to every touch and sound, its eyes wide with a mix of fear and confusion, reminding everyone of the wildness that still lurked within. In a quiet corner of the clinic, Mark and the vet discussed their next course of action. They weighed their options, considering the safety and well-being of the horse as they pondered how to address its unique condition. A theory emerged among the team. Could the antlers be a man-made addition? An artificial attachment? The possibility sparked a mix of disbelief and concern as hours passed, the tension in the clinic grew. The horse showed no sign of calming down. Its persistent agitation was a constant reminder of the wild, untamed mystery they were trying to unravel. Faced with the horse's unrelenting distress, the vet made a decisive call to administer a mild tranquilizer. This decision, aimed at ensuring a safer examination for both the horse and the team, was met with a somber sense of necessity. With careful precision, the vet administered the tranquilizer, her movements deliberate and gentle. Every precaution was taken to ensure the horse's safety, the team standing by in silent support as the medication took effect. As the tranquilizer soothed the horse into a calm state, the vet began a comprehensive examination. Her experienced hands moved methodically, exploring the mysterious antlers with a mix of professionalism and curiosity. Mark watched from a distance, his heart caught between hope and apprehension. He waited for any word from the vet, eager to learn the truth behind the horse's bizarre appearance and the mysterious antlers. During the examination, the vet's keen eyes identified peculiarities that hinted at an unexpected truth. Her findings were meticulous, each one adding a piece to the puzzle of the horse's unique condition. In a moment of revelation, the vet confirmed that the antlers were not a natural part of the horse. They had been artificially attached, a fact that sent a wave of shock through everyone present. Mark and the vet stood in disbelief, processing the disturbing truth. The idea that someone had deliberately altered the horse in such a manner was both shocking and deeply unsettling. As the vet continued her examination, she discovered a clue that shed light on the horse's past. Embedded in the horse's skin, near the base of the antlers, was a mark, leading to a shady dealer known for unethical practices in the animal trade. This dealer had surgically attached the antlers, attempting to pass the horse off as a rare species. With a newfound determination, Mark and the vet delved into the horse's past. Their investigation combined online research, inquiries, and the clue found on the horse, piecing together a trail that led to the cruel origins of its unnatural appendages. Their diligent efforts bore fruit when authorities apprehended the dealer responsible for the horse's plight. The arrest marked a significant victory against animal cruelty, closing a chapter in the horse's life marred by exploitation and suffering. In a delicate procedure, the vet skillfully removed the antlers. The team breathed a collective sigh of relief upon finding that, aside from the unnatural additions, the horse was in good health, its spirit unbroken by its ordeal. Moved by the horse's resilience, Mark made a heartfelt decision to provide it with a permanent home. He committed to ensuring the horse would have a future filled with care and kindness, a stark contrast to its past tribulations. In the following days, the horse began its journey of healing and adaptation. Surrounded by the tranquil fields and Mark's compassionate care, it slowly started to show signs of recovery, both physically and emotionally. As time passed, a unique bond formed between Mark and the horse. He marveled at its strength and resilience, finding a deep connection with the animal that had endured so much yet remained gentle and trusting. Inspired by his experience, Mark became an advocate for animal welfare. He shared the story of the horse far and wide, raising awareness about animal cruelty and the importance of empathy and responsible care in animal ownership. The story culminated in a serene tableau of Mark and the horse, now living in peaceful coexistence. The horse, free from the chains of its past, grazed contentedly in the fields, its life a testament to resilience, recovery, and the transformative power of compassion.